One of the most explosive UK premieres of 1981 was that of Sheena Easton, the Scottish pop singer who released two Ruby packed albums that year with material that ranged from uptempo urban pop to after hours piano balladry, such as this track, Calm Before the Storm.
Hotel room survival, room without a view, bedside table Bible, throws a book at you. You can't make your mind up if you're angry or you're dumb. But you know the night before has left you cold and numb. I love the suspended chords and the suspended notes in those piano keys that we're hearing. Let's hotel room survival, room without a view, beside table Bible, throws the book at you, and you can't make up your mind if you're angry or you're dumb, but you know the night before has left you cold and numb. I take it that this is probably written from the point of view of touring life. Let's see here. Written by Christopher Neal and Peter Vale. And, no, they're not in her backing band. But Christopher Neal produced the album. Take My Time, her first album, released in the United States simply as Sheena Easton with a slightly altered track list. Leave your bags unopened and feel 1,000 years old. In this room you've picked, you feel you've been kicked hard in the soul. It's the calm before the storm. She is like 22 when this album came out and probably 21 when this was recorded. And fast forward like 12 years later, after her pop marketability kind of ran aground, she cut some albums like in the jazz vocal vein, and some people when they heard that were kind of taken aback, thinking her, and she had been doing that since the beginning of her career. She had more than enough like you know, capabilities in that area. No one's arms to keep you warm. There's the calm before the storm descends. I like how she holds those vowels. No, I'll never touch you again. Love that key change right there. Hotel room survival, divided in your thoughts, multiply the reasons. It's like a B with a suspended second in it. And upon the notes. Yeah. It starts out with like a suspended second and then drops it. You don't have to be a genius to put together two and two. Every time he's home, he says he's so in love with you. Listen to her. Lies and poor excuses will always be the same, and it's never you that chooses to be left out in the rain. Let's catch up
up with the lyrics here. Okay, leave your bags unopened and feel 1,000 years old. In this room you've picked, you feel you've been kicked hard in the soul, and it's the calm before the storm. No one's arms to keep you warm, and as the calm before the storm descends, I know I'll never, never touch you again. So she's the one in the situation. Not she. I was kind of wondering if this was like just being sung about from an omniscient point of view about a just an anonymous subject. Hotel room survivor, divided in your thoughts, multiply the reasons, add up all the knots. You don't have to be a genius to put together two and two, but every time he's home, he says he's so in love with you. Okay, now she's kind of removed herself. But lies and poor excuses will always be the same, and it's never you that chooses to be left out in the rain. And it's the calm before the storm, no one's there to keep you warm anymore. And as the calm before the storm descends, I know I'll never, ever touch you again. Putting herself back into it again. Yeah, interesting metaphors for it's very visual. It's kind of like black and you can kind of picture it all in like black and white photography almost. It could be conveyed like in a 5 minute art film with no words, just like expressions and actions and yeah. And
And it's the calm before the storm, and no one's there to keep you warm anymore. And there's the calm before the storm descends. I know I'll never touch you again.
hear her just hold that note. I stand corrected on co-writer Peter Vale not playing on the album. He is actually like the only instrumentalist we're hearing. The reason I missed that is because the list of keyboardists is like there's like five of them. It's like this big long um, and so his name was kind of at the end of that list. And yeah, he's like the only person we're hearing on here. So it's basically three people on this. It's keyboardist, pianist, Peter Vale, and co-writer producer Christopher Neal, and the one and only Sheena Easton. Sheena Easton with the beautiful After Hours lounge ballad Calm Before the Storm from her 1971 debut album Take My Time. Let's hear another track from that album. Let's go to well, if you know the album already, you kind of know which track I'm going to. The track So Much in Love.
So much in love with you. So much in love with you. So much in love with you.
Those male harmonies that we're hearing here give some indication of the kind of backing vocals that the men in her band were providing. It's kind of funny at times. They try to sound kind of feminine or kind of androgynous at times, kind of soft androgynous at times, and they'll back up her very female centric lyrics. They'll double up on them at times. It's really it's especially funny on the hit 9 to 5 Morning Train when they sing about when they double up on her like relationship lyrics.
You must be happy, you look wonderful. Never seen you looking so fine. I've heard all about her. You read about her. You talk about her all the time.
Okay, we've got some real like West Coast smooth influences right here. Um, the West Coast United States and Scotland being kind of like-minded musically at the time. Um, and of course, West Coast influences being quite commercially viable circa 1981 on Billboard, um, which kind of explains why Sheena Easton was one of the exceptions in her success in the United States during this period being kind of a forerunner to the second British invasion. Um, being from the occurring during that like 1976 to 1981 time frame where unestablished where new name UK talent was having a hard time by and large breaking through in the States. Several of the exceptions to that rule, well, I'm thinking her and I'm thinking Jerry Rafferty and Allie Thompson were all Scottish. Yeah. Heck, even Mark Knopfler was born in Scotland, although Dire Straits were formed in London. Yeah, there are a lot of Scots bucking the managing to penetrate the sleeping giant during that period.
They say you love her, but she's giving you
Uh, Brush stroke drumming.
everything you ever need. Though I still adore you, I'm happy for you. I know that it's too late for me. The only love I ever wanted is gone forever. I can never put my world together. There's so much in love, I know you'll never come back to me. Oh, love doesn't come to you every minute. If you hold back, someone else will win it. If you got love, put your heart right in it. Never set it free.
Beautiful voice. This track was co-written by Dominic Bugatti and Frank Musker. Let's see. I'm looking over. Frank Musker sings backing vocals, and he's the only one who actually appears on the album. And I not letting my eyes fool me a second time. And let's see who plays on this particular track. I think we're hearing the basic band here. We've got Andy Brown on bass, who was in the Bliss. We've got a few members of the Bliss band. Interestingly, yeah, this guy. Well, yeah, he was on Dinner with Route. He was on both Bliss band albums. Oh, and he was on Tigers Going Down Laughing. Interesting. And he was on a Don Burrows album. And he was on an album by Alan Bown. Yeah, it's really confusing. So there's Alan Bown, there's Andy Bown, and there's Andy Brown. Let's see. He played on Violinsky's No Cause for Alarm album. Yeah. Tiger Going Down Laughing. One of my favorite debuts one of my favorite English debuts of 1976. Let's see. The other Bliss Band alumni on this album, Phil Palmer, who plays guitar. Yeah.
Think it over and you'll understand. I'm not trying to change
airy sounds right here. Like those background vocals almost create kind of like an almost, yeah, kind of almost like the way they converged. It almost had like a synth like kind of airy tone to it, and then with her like smooth, soft vocals.
Boy, don't miss your chance this time. The only love I ever wanted is gone forever. I can never put my world together. So much in love, I know you'll never come back to me. Oh, love doesn't come to you every minute. If you hold back, someone else will win it. If you got a love, put your heart right in it. Never set it free. So much in love, so much in love, so much in love, so much in love, so much in love.
Let's see. Drums are played by Peter Van Hook, who very familiar name. Headstone. Let's see here. Was on Stackeridge. Their final album, Mr. Mick, was on the two Rock Foley's albums. Played on Ray Russell's 1977 Ready or Not album. And on a very different note, played on some albums by disco producer Alec R. Costadinos, and 11 Kisses. Huh, yeah, all over the place, really. And the band Headstone.
Love I ever wanted is gone forever. I can never put my world together. So much in love, I know you'll never come back to me. Oh, love doesn't come to you every minute. If you hold back, someone else will win it. If you got a love, put your heart right in it. Never set it free. Oh, love I ever wanted is gone forever. I can never put my world together. So much in love, I know you.
Did you hear her that note she held toward the end? Wow. Yeah, very smooth, delectably catchy, well harmonized, and just tastefully arranged song. I'm not sure who played keyboards on this track since so many people are credited, although another interesting name, Billy Lyall from the Scottish symphonic pop band Pilot, plays on this album, as does I wonder if they give away the exact song he and among the other keyboardists credited, David Cullen, who played with Dollar and David Essex, and Derek Austin, who mostly was doing library recordings during the 1970s. Oh, but also appeared on Paul Brett's Inner Life. Yeah, that's a good album. Oh, appeared on the 1970 Gas album, and at least one title with the Keith Hartley Band. Appeared on a Linda Lewis album. Oh, appeared on that 1979 Choral album. Yeah, good, symphonic record. Ian Lynn, another keyboardist to appear on the album. Yeah, oh yeah, I came across him recently. Yeah, did some, jazz, I think kind of ECM type jazz on MMC label. And let's see here. One more keyboardist I got all the keyboardists. Yeah, I guess I mentioned all the people that we heard. Aside from some of the background vocalists, I mentioned all the instrumentalists anyway, yeah. And a bunch of people credited with background vocals. Sheena Easton, 2 tracks from her fabulous debut, Take My Time, aka Sheena Easton. The tracks So Much in Love, and before that, Calm Before the Storm. Two very different tracks showing her range right from the get go. Um, Piano, lounge balladry, and smooth West Coast contemporary balladry. Yeah, and she would go on to cover much more ground over the years and go through several image changes and really work it before the camera and work it with a whole bunch of musicians in the coming years, including Prince. For more rubies and sapphires from the catalog of Sheena Easton, see the directory of albums by Scottish artists linked in the description below. Like and subscribe and follow me on social media and leave a comment if there are any observations you have about the two tracks we just heard. The interplay, the musical detail, and most of all, the vocal performances by this very gifted singer, very young at the time and with a great future ahead. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most air travel tri-maximalist, signing off.